Okay, hey everyone. Let me grab the agenda here. Okay. There was a bit of a Zoom mix-up on my end, so this might be a time-limited meeting today by accident. But in any case, we'll go ahead and get started. So here's the agenda in the chat. This should be mev-boost community call number 12. And yeah, we'll go ahead and jump in for the day. So the first thing we should touch on is Pectra. So the next Ethereum hard fork is coming up very soon. We have dates for Haleshki and Sepolia. So yeah, and then there I think we have provisional dates for mainnet. So it's happening soon. I believe Haleshki's, yeah, actually let me just go double check. I have the dates right here. So Haleshki is on February 24th at basically, what is that, 10 p.m. UTC. Sepolia is about a week after, I believe, on March 5th. So, yeah, if you're listening, what that means for mev-boost and co people here is that, sorry, I had to admit someone to the room. What that means is, yeah, time to update our infrastructure. So with the test nets, yeah, it's really the full stack. So that would be mev-boost, the relay, if anyone is running a testnet relay, and any builders for that. So yeah, I guess the first thing then to touch on are the releases for the software. So there is v1.9 RC2, and I'll grab a link to this here. And as far as I know, this is what we've been testing on the dev nets. And yeah, so progress here has been going pretty well. With Pectra generally, I think there might be like one outstanding issue still with the builder, but either way, mev-boost and the relay and the builder for some parts of the protocol have been demonstrated to work on DevNets, which is super exciting. And yeah, so point being, testnets soon. If you're running infrastructure on these testnets, please find the software you need to update. I don't know if anyone here has anything else to say around either mev-boost, mev-boost relay, or our builder for Pectra. Yeah, Chris?
I just wanted to add something about the builder. It seems there is some complex interplay issue with RBuilder and Ref with the proofs API and RBuilder having issues with the state root calculation. Um, we are looking into that. Roman, I think, is also taking a look. Yeah, we are checking what's the issue there and should have more information shortly within the next couple of days.
Cool. Is that something like the Reth team can help with, or is it more our builder folks? Maybe both.
Yeah, it's pretty much both.
Okay.
Yeah, we are working with a Rev team also on it.
Okay. Cool. But otherwise, yeah, I think my boost and the relay are in pretty good spots. And yeah, we'll get the builder thing ironed out, and then we should be good to go. And yeah, I guess one thing that's nice is, well, we'll see. I think what would happen with the outstanding builder issue is that even say we're on Haleshki, if there was a problem, it wouldn't get past the relay, so it should be fine. It would just, look like the builder has no bids for that slot. Yeah, but we should definitely get that moving so that we are ready for mainnet. Anything else on Pectra that we should touch on now?
Sorry, I have a quick question actually. I didn't find the button to raise the hand, but my question was if, so I was testing earlier today the Kurtosis Mev Pectra testnet, which spins up, I think, a bunch of clients and mev-boost, and then was not seeing any payload being delivered or header being returned by the relay. So I was just wondering if that's related to the builder issues that Chris was mentioning, or if people are testing with some other images.
Yeah, so you're running kurtosis, and do you know if like our builder was activated or something else?
Yeah, it was our builder and mev relay. I think all the images were from Justin. I can also check the. Yeah, basically on kurtosis there is a bunch of test cases, and one of those was mev-pack, that's called.
Yeah, it could be. I'm not sure. And so you saw that our builder was submitting blocks, but it wasn't making it through to the
No,
clients.
actually, well, I wasn't getting any header back from the relay, but
Okay.
then I think at some point our builder was showing some errors, so maybe that's related. But yeah, because I was just wondering, because then I was talking with Paritosh and he showed me a mev relay that they've been running, which is delivering payloads. So I was just wondering if people have been testing with different images.
If you're using an image with my name, it's probably outdated. The ETH Panda Ops image will be the most up to date. I'll share it in the chat.
Right. All right, thank you.
Okay, cool. Okay. So yeah, please pay attention to the testnet deadlines and keep an eye out for mainnet and update your infrastructure accordingly. Next up then, let's see, a few sort of different spec things on the agenda for the builder specs and the related system. So maybe I will go to the next one here really quickly because this was pretty short and simple. There was a spec update to add an optional header for the get header timestamp. This is something that I believe mev-boost and the relay sort of already leverage. And so this PR was just kind of reflecting this fact so that it becomes more of a standard. It is optional, so you don't necessarily need to use it, but various operators find it helpful, especially to like debug this stuff. Alex, you had this PR. Was there anything else to add?
Maybe the one thing to add is that mev-boost already had a header, and in the end, on the spec side, we settled on a different name for it. So then, if you want to comply with the spec, then there would have to be a migration at some point for mev-boost. Commit boost, I forget. I think I took a look. That one might also. I think it's also using a different name, so that would also like needed to update the name of the header then to follow the spec. And the vouch will soon have it with the proposed name. That's it.
Gotcha. Thanks. Yeah, so I don't think that's necessarily urgent. Everyone has their software working today, but hopefully over the next few months we can move towards the updated spec. Lorenzo, did you have a question? You raised your hand.
Yeah, sorry, just very quickly on that. I think on Commit Boost we had we did have the old one that was using mev-boost as well, but it's updated now, so it should be in the next release.
Okay, great. Cool. Pretty straightforward. This next one is probably going to support a little more conversation. So there was an issue here on the mev-boost repo that I linked there in the chat. It's issue 708. And it's revisiting, the calculation of values for bids. This has kind of been a long-standing concern that we've had for many years now with mev-boost, simply because, given the way the protocol works, it's like actually more complicated than it sounds to like have a precise bid value. And I believe that the proposal here is even going to address a pretty interesting bid that we saw. If you look at this link here, so there's a block that came through, and basically the way if I understand correctly, the way the spec works is that sorry, my cat is attacking my leg. Um, this is unfortunate timing. The way the spec works is that this was like the value reported was like something like 2000 ETH, and that was correct according to the spec, basically because yeah, this is just how it works if you look at how the payments flow and who's involved. But obviously, this was not like the bid payment. And I believe this issue here is pointing at this, and again, just trying to make this a more precise measurement. So I don't know if Ben is on the call.
I'm here.
Oh, hey, yeah. Would you like to say a bit more about the issue?
Yeah, so like Alex mentioned, this has been around for a long time here. We've been trying to standardize this. There's been a couple attempts in the past. And what really like brought this to my attention again is that different relays don't follow the same pattern for this. And then different builders don't follow the same pattern after I did a lot more investigation. So I proposed two different alternatives here. One where we only use this positive fee recipient balance change if the fee recipient is the block Coinbase. I think at that point, it's like that's like the only fair time to use that. Otherwise, we should always use the transfer value in the last transaction that's paying to the validator as the bid value. After talking to more people in the community, I got a few that offered to just say, let's not ever do the set the validator as the block Coinbase. But I think that's a more drastic change. So I'm hoping that we can get some agreement today that we can at least standardize the bid process here to make these block values a little bit more accurate and cause a little bit less confusion. I know everyone here who operates a relay has probably had to answer this exact same question to validators complaining that their bid value was not correct for the block that they accepted. So it's definitely a long-standing issue, and hopefully we can get this resolved.
Yeah, and one thing here is I know that there have been requests at various times to have this flexibility to basically go through the Coinbase. So yeah, this would be like a pretty radical departure. I wonder if anyone here has any thoughts on this, or are we generally in agreement that this is workable?
I have gotten soft confirmations from all of the top builders and a couple of the smaller builders that this is an okay departure from the current operations, though they want to have time to actually roll this out, right? So this can't be like an overnight change. The main enforcement on this is going to be on the relay level, and the enforcement side is a pretty easy technical lift on the relay side.
Right.
Wait,
Do you
so
know if,
why?
oh, go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry. So why can't we just? I mean, I know it's a pain, but it seems like I like the second option more that you highlighted, that it's basically universal regardless of Coinbase. Even if that's a bit harder to do, like it's a one-time change that we'll be making for the foreseeable future.
Which option?
The the For the second option, didn't you mention that basically the block value would be calculated the same regardless of Coinbase?
So I mean, there's two options. The first one is that we only allow this positive like fee recipient balance change to be used as the bid value if the validator is set as the Coinbase. And then the other option is that we never allow the validator to be set as the Coinbase.
Okay, okay. And so what it sounds like you're saying option one is the one that's we're gonna it looks like we're gonna go with.
I mean, my hope is that we can just everyone agree on one of those options, and then every relay is standardized with this, and every builder is like bidding the same strategy with this.
Yeah, okay. And then what would enforce for like number two, just I'm not trying to take up too much time, but like for the option number two for the enforcement, if someone submits the wrong Coinbase, right? If we're only allowing or if we're never allowing the validator, Are we supposed to deny the block in that case if the validator is the Coinbase?
Yeah, if we don't want to allow the validators to be the Coinbase, then the relay would just check that the registered fee recipient is not set to the block Coinbase when they receive the bid.
Okay. I mean, we're fine at blocks out. We're fine doing whatever the community wants to go with. Although my 2 cents, I think I like number two more. But like I said, we're more than happy to go with whatever everyone goes with.
Yeah, so Chris had a comment here in the chat. That was the point I was making is I think some people do use this and they rely on this flexibility. So yeah, it might be simpler technically, but it's kind of extreme, at least in terms of flexibility.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I know the justification for setting the validator as the block Coinbase is that you save that gas in the payment transaction, which is definitely a fair argument, though I wouldn't imagine that the entire amount of gas that we're saving with this is a huge amount of ETH. But we do have Titan Builder here. I don't see if we have I don't see Beaver on the call, but we do have Kubi from Titan who might be able to weigh in on that.
Yeah, so I mean, there's some additional conversation in the chat here that basically, sure, we have this option, but basically no one uses it. So, yeah, we would definitely want to check with as many people as possible, I suppose. But it also sounds like you've done that, Ben. So it seems like there's support for this. Oh yeah, Kubi, you want to chime in?
Cannot hear you, but you're unmuted.
Yeah, 1 second, just some mic issues.
Can you hear me now? Yep.
Yep.
No.
Nope. Maybe we heard you through Lorenzo's computer.
Yeah,
I was gonna head through Lorenzo.
You want to just get this?
Okay, so it was important to us in the past because it was just a more efficient way to save essentially some gas on blocks that we didn't make a profit on anyway. But recently, there are just so many refunds and things that happen in the block that we tend to always use the Coinbase anyway in most cases. So from our perspective, so we chatted with Ben about this as well. We would be happy to only, so to never set the fee recipient of the validator to the Coinbase and always go through our Coinbase first.
Okay, good to hear.
Yeah, and then from when I messaged Kevin at Beaver last, he just wants to have a clear timeline of when they need to switch over to that. He didn't seem like it was a blocker if we were going to switch to that.
All right. So I think the immediate next step would be an implementation in mev-boost relay. Does that exist yet?
Yeah, one note here.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
You can go, Chris.
All right. On the mev-boost relay, we will change the validation infrastructure around the Pectra upgrade. Right now, it's using the archived builder repository, like flashbox/builder, which is based on Geth. And we are experimenting with using Rev as well. So for now, it would probably require a fork of the archived repository. If anybody wants to do that, that would be fine.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I think was it just called Builder or Go Builder? I forget. But yeah, there was the builder in Go that was used for this validation step. So yeah, if anyone wants to push this forward, then you would, it'd be nice to see the implementation there. I think that will make it like very concrete for anyone who wants to look on. From there, we could like run it through some test nets and different things just to get a feel for how it works and yeah, just kind of see some running code. I think once we have that, then we can think about actually rolling this out to all the various relays. It does seem like you'd want everyone to kind of move in lockstep there. So we need to get, most of the relays involved, coordinate on time, and move forward with that. We did kind of do this in the past with the withdrawal scoring, so we could like have a similar sort of thing. I think I put together some like mev-boost improvement proposal situation, so we could do a similar thing, even get it into the builder specs, use that as a coordination point, and yeah. So that seems like a path forward, and it does seem like this would be helpful, especially if people are on board with not using the Coinbase as like a sort of alternative payment mechanism. So yeah, Ben, would you? Yeah, go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe something that would be nice to do is to soft roll it out at some point, like have a date maybe where it's like the final crossover. But then because I know that not every builder will be following this call or be ahead of it, it might be nice to do a soft rollout where we just do it for a day or something like that once the updates are there in the simulation software. And then builders should get demoted, and then we could help reach out to them and give them a little heads up instead of just, one day all relays suddenly
Right.
don't accept this feature anymore.
Yeah. Definitely, we should have like a graceful upgrade path. I mean, it could even look like a different API version where like this new behavior is behind the new thing, and then yeah, over time you kind of migrate people over to the new pathways.
Yeah,
So
it probably makes sense for this to be after the Pectra fork, so everyone could focus on getting Pectra ready, and then we roll this out afterwards. Though it would be convenient to put this into like the validate flashbots, or the flashbots validate block submission V5 if there is going to be a V5. But it would be nice to have that all in one.
right. So yeah, I mean, it sounds like there's enough support to move forward here. I will not be working on the code of this, so someone else needs to make that happen if they want to push this forward. I don't know, Ben, if you want to take up the charge or if anyone else is listening on the call and would like to. That's how we move this forward.
Yeah, I can definitely take this up. It's I feel like I'm pretty well versed on all sides of the PBS space with this now, so I can probably cover that.
Awesome.
But just to clarify, are we in agreement that we're not going to allow the validator to be the block Coinbase, or is it the other option?
Yeah, we said
Um,
the Coinbase cannot be the validator.
Could we get a written opinion from Titan and Beaver on this too? Because what last I heard was that Beaver was pushing back strongly on that. And sadly, there is nobody here representing them. Um, at least we should have like another comment period, perhaps, and say like in the next 2 weeks, like any motions otherwise, please write them down now.
Right. Yeah, so I think having someone working on implementation and then any potential updates to the spec would be good. And these would just be PRs that aren't merged, until there is clear support. And, for example, having a PR to the spec then gives people a place to comment and we can kind of go from there. But yeah, the idea would not be to steamroll this through without talking to all the relevant parties we can get in touch with.
Yeah, for sure. Builder opinions would be good. On the other hand, I think Beaver has had a lot of time and Ben has reached out multiple times. So I also wouldn't wait too long on them if they're the main one that we're waiting for.
Yeah, I just pinged him again. I don't really want to be dropping screenshots of Telegram messages, but hopefully we can get him to clarify his stance on it.
Okay, sounds good. Anything else on that? Otherwise, we can move on to the rest of the agenda. There are some other updates to share. Okay, cool. The next thing then, I think this just dropped hours ago, but there's a new release of BuilderNet v1.2. And yeah, Chris or someone else from Flashbots, would you like to talk us through that?
Yeah, happy to take it and to say a few words. Let me drop the link to the announcement. Coincidentally, the announcement just went out today on the same day as the community call. We've been cooking on this for a while, but now it's actually live and kicking. It's a pretty significant upgrade for BuilderNet, which has a bunch of performance improvements that are coming both from software updates as well as infrastructure upgrades, in particular around the disk caching. Now we also ship a Terraform module that automates the whole infrastructure setup, so it's easy to reproduce the ideal configuration. Right now, it's still focused on Azure TDX instances. We are working on bare metal support for the next release. Now it does fully automatic bootstrapping, a bunch of performance improvements. I already mentioned a ton of quality of life improvements. It also features fully reproducible builds. Like anybody here can just clone the public code base and arrive at VM images with exactly the same measurements, with all the code reproducible and auditable. Previously, there was one issue with Podman, of all things, that we use for orchestrating some services inside the VM. That was the only piece that was not fully reproducible. There is additional links in the post. And this has been like hot patched by us in public repositories, and we are waiting for upstreaming the reproducibility on the Podman Yocto recipes. It's still all based on Yocto. If you want to reproduce the images, it will take about an hour of build time initially, and then less time afterwards. Yeah, there is a bunch of additional notes in the forum. And yeah, we are really excited about this. This is a significant milestone, and there's still a lot of work happening on both the foundational layer as well as on the services and the plumbing on top. And I think there will be also more to come in the remaining Q1. Happy to answer any questions that may come up here that anyone may have.
Super exciting. Yeah, Ben.
Yeah, so I was wondering more about kind of timeline to open this up to more participants. I haven't seen a lot of new information on that, but was curious if there's any update on that.
Yeah, that is a good point. We are looking to expand the operator set carefully and steadily. I think we will expand it somewhat in Q1 still. That's at least the idea, but rather slowly because it adds significant operational complexity. So we want to be mindful at what point to expand the operator set and to what extent. Say can talk a little bit more in detail about it. I don't have much more to add besides we are looking to expand the operator set somewhat this quarter and then further going forward in the remainder of this year.
Cool. Yeah, and I like the reproducible builds. That's a very nice thing to have for building software and working with software. So that's really cool to see. Okay. Any other questions about the new BuilderNet release? Otherwise, we can touch on the last thing on the agenda, and then I think that'll be it for the day. And again, apologies. We do have a time limit today, thanks to Zoom. Basically this is an old account now at this point, so we have the limitation today. Okay, cool. Then yeah, last thing here, quick update from the PBS Foundation. I think the main thing here is they are trying to figure out how to help more with the ecosystem. And moving forward, I think they'll be a little more involved with helping this call and just some of the coordination around it. Anything else to add, Chris, on this?
No, mainly the positive update that we're happy to support and be more involved. So in the last year, maybe a bit of history, we're established to support with infrastructure in the PBS ecosystem and also some research. And so we started with relay funding initially, but relays are somewhat self-sustainable now. And so we had a quick strategy offsite at the beginning of this year, and we looked into what is like the most useful thing we can do for the whole PBS ecosystem. And so there was pretty unanimous input that like supporting with mev-boost, especially around hard forks, would be great because it takes resources from Flashbots and from the EF, which could be focused on other things. And so it would be nice if the overall infrastructure, which benefits from mev-boost, the overall industry, which benefits from the mev-boost infrastructure, would actually chip in to support with the maintenance. And so we started having some conversations with Chris Hager from the Flashbot side and with Justin and Marius from the EF side to understand what needs to be done. And we'd be happy to stepwise be more involved with coordination or maybe even engineering capacities around hard forks. So yeah, and there we're just seeing what is the best way to get involved and to support, and then free up more resources, which can then be used again on the EF and Flashbot side itself. So yeah, super appreciative also there, Stokes, for reaching out and bringing up those points, and then we can play a more substantial role in the ecosystem, hopefully, and that would be nice and positive for everyone.
Yeah, thanks. That would be very nice. So yeah, good to see, good to hear. And yeah, otherwise then I think that was everything on the agenda for the day. Anything else anyone would like to bring up? We have a few minutes left.
Maybe just a reminder for builders and relays to add SSC support.
Gotcha. And does that look like just using like mev-boost relay or implementation in their own code base? We're getting a lot of thumbs up, so looks like
not really
message
sure.
received. Okay.
Yeah.
But I guess yeah, one thing is we do have support now in mev-boost for this, so take advantage of it. There's a question here about this PR. Okay. Yeah, I can take a look at this. Support for this API. Justin, do you know if mev-boost relay has this, or maybe Chris? Like SSC support for the validator registration endpoint?
mev-boost has it, the relay does not, but it will properly reject SSC. So it should work fine. And I do think we should merge it.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I can look at that later today. And yeah, sounds good. Anything else? If not, then yeah, again, keep an eye on Pector timelines. Haleshki is coming up in a few days, Sepolia soon after that, and then mainnet very soon after that. So otherwise, yeah, we'll go ahead and call it. And thanks, everyone. I'll see you on the next community call.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Alex.
Bye.